The following program is paid for by the Charlie Butler team.
Good Sunday morning, Tri-State. This is the Charlie Butler Real Estate Show. I'm Charlie Butler. And Candace, what are you doing? Will you pay attention?
I'm texting a client.
Okay.
I've had it was a hectic morning. And then my dog got sick, and it was a whole thing.
What's wrong with Lenny?
Probably he ate something he wasn't supposed to eat. So, yeah, he was very upset with me whenever I said he had to go to his kennel.
Is he okay, though?
He's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the strange dog person that we're talking to is Candace DeArmond, the president of Butler DeArmond Real Estate Network and the Charlie Butler team. And we have a couple of special guests today, Candace.
Yes, we do.
We got to behave because we got our sponsor here today.
Well, we sure do. Norm's not here. And Phil's
Norm's not here.
So,
but
yeah.
I haven't taught Jeff hadn't taught Norm how to write checks yet. So until Norm can write checks, I guess we got to be nice to you.
That's right. You have to be nice to Norm. And by the way, I'm Jeff Bosse. Thank you for having me.
Did you
Candace
like that
and Charlie? I did. I did like that introduction. Candace, Charlie, thank you. No, I bring Norm to work with me. It's all right, buddy. It's all right. This is the table of trust. No, Norm is my 5-year-old French bulldog, comes to work with me every day, and he's our CFO, our chief Frenchie officer. He's
talked about a lot when we do the live reads on.
Oh yeah, no, I get that. And Norm has gotten so busy that he now has an assistant.
I heard that. I met him the other day.
Yeah, his name is Phil. Phil is 5 months old. Well, he's not actually the assistant CFO. He is the assistant to the CFO. There's a big difference there. Kind of a la Dwight Schrute with Michael Scott. He's assistant to the CFO. No, Norm's not really good at signing checks yet. Those little paws of his can't quite grasp the pen.
Doesn't have a thumb, does he?
No, he needs the opposable digit.
Yeah. And also with us today from Law and Order fame is all of you think she died in a car wreck on Law and Order, but she
I've never seen that show.
You've never seen that show?
I've never seen that show, Law and Order.
You've never seen one episode?
Not one.
How could you miss it? It's on everywhere.
Charlie, I'm too busy working in the real estate industry and title work, and I wish I had time to do that.
Well, Claire Kincaid is staring at you right now because she knows that is a lie.
Well, luckily I don't have to work as hard because I have people like Claire Kincaid.
Good morning, Tri-State.
Good morning, Claire.
Hi.
Claire, do you want to comment any on Jeff's hard work?
Oh, he's a hardworking boss. Fantastic. I just love him. He pays my bills.
That's right.
Writes my checks.
Claire,
that's right.
Claire, it's one of those things I heard a client of mine say one time. He had a guy always had ideas. Mm-hmm. And the guy said, you need to start doing these. And you need to, and he was almost ordering. And the client says, look, he says, as long as your name appears on the top line of the check and mine on the bottom line, we're going to do it my way. He said, now, when you get where we can reverse that.
Now, that's some food for thought.
We'll do it your way.
Sure.
So that's kind of what Claire was saying. As long as hers is on the bottom and Jeff's are on top, and never mind, that's going the wrong. Yeah.
Well, no. See, my feeling, though, Charlie, is just like you, have very talented people that work around you because it makes you look better and it makes our jobs a whole lot easier.
It certainly does. People, and
because we know it's the Candace DeArmond team.
Well,
he was on the Charlie Butler team.
Yeah,
but we both know, Charlie, that the gals here to our left do the lion's share of the work.
They do,
and because of them, we look good.
We are, we are very good figureheads.
That's right.
Yeah. So,
and you and I both have a because actually Candace and Claire are both, beautiful on the inside and out. Whereas you and I have what as my mother says, a face for radio.
Yeah, I knew where that was going, and so Jeff, actually, let's talk about the title industry. I know it's not the most exciting thing for people, but
what?
But no, because nobody ever thinks about that when they're buying a house. Of course, they're excited about buying the house, but just so people sometimes will say to us, well, what do I have to do? Why do we have to have a title company involved? So you want to explain a little bit what you guys actually do?
Absolutely. And Claire, please feel free to chime in when appropriate.
Mistakes. Okay.
Well, no, because when you buy real estate, which is typically the largest purchase that one makes, and so it's never inexpensive. And then when people who have who have bought and sold before will know that those expenses that is not just the purchase price of the property or the refinance of the property. You've got the bank fees and the appraiser fees and the inspection fees, and then the title fees. And we get this question a lot. Why do I need title insurance? Well, per state law, you don't have to have title insurance. I don't recommend that, but it is not required by law. If you get a loan, then it is, because the bank's going to require a lender's title policy insurance. Anyway, I'm getting too deep in the woods. Think of it, it's a one-time purchase only. So it's not like it's your car insurance or your homeowner's insurance where you have to pay monthly or something like that. It's a one-time purchase that really protects the largest asset that you have just spent money on. So it protects against liens, encumbrances, defects in title. And it could just be simple as, Charlie, let's say you and I own a piece of property. I bought property from you. Well, you had a lien on it, meaning you owed someone some money. Could be a federal tax lien. It could just be simple as a weed lien, meaning the city had to come in, clear your weeds, and they charged you, was it $400 for
$300 or $400,
something like that.
Something like that.
Well, that, as I like to say, that lien literally leans up, butts the property, it leans against the property. That's how I kind of refer that to. So, for them to get paid, when that house sells, then that lien has to be paid. Our job as the title company is to find all liens, judgments, any imperfections in the ownership, the chain of title ownership. Make sure it gets cleared to protect the new homeowner against anything like that.
So, excuse me.
There's an off button, Charlie, so we don't have to hear that.
Well, it makes it a little more realistic.
Oh, it does. Okay, this is real, folks. This is real.
So, people, we're here, we're joking around and things like that. But people, I've heard this too. Well, the title, whichever side you're on, whether it be buy or sell, whoever sends it to you, and it's usually not. It's rare. It's usually not a realtor. It's usually a lender that sends it to you anyway. The title work. Yeah.
Agree. Typically, it's the lender. Oftentimes, different markets throughout the country or even the state, titles directed by the lender or the realtor. And here, I'm going to say, and Claire, you may have a better idea than I do. I mean, would you say it's 50-50 lender-driven versus realtor-driven, or would you say it's mostly lender-driven?
There's a lot of times though we tell the lender, Candace, don't you tell? We want to go to Bosse.
Yeah, I would say a lot of it is the realtors, the connections that we have with our realtors really drives our business with our lenders. A lot of times, anytime I talk to my lender friends, it'll be, oh, well, wherever the realtor tells me to go is where I send the title order to. And
Claire or Jeff, whoever, where I was going with that is sometimes people think, well, you so-and-so sent them the business, so they're going to lean towards them. They're going to do whatever they want. You guys are impartial here.
We are the independent third party.
Correct.
Yeah,
we are the third party.
That's where I was going with that. Thank you.
We are the third party. And to what Jeff was saying about what we do as a title company, we're also that third party in the transaction. We are taking care of all of the money of the transaction. The lender sends us the money. The buyer sends us the money. And we disperse out. We take care of all of those liens. We get everything recorded. Everything
like the mortgage, the warranty
everything
deed.
Recorded, everything sent down to the county. So everything gets finalized through us. We're just like that middleman.
Yeah.
Except we're the last stop on that bus.
Correct.
Bus ride.
Correct. We're the last stop. We're your final hurrah.
Well, you're where basically where the where
everyone signs all those papers.
Yeah, correct. Where everybody they sign all those papers.
Yeah.
And Claire, do you often? I know from time to time we hear you walk in. It's for those of you that bought a home. It's a big stack of papers.
Sometimes.
Yeah, not always, but many times. So whenever they say, "What is all this anyway?"
Yeah. So that's another portion of my job at Bosse Title is as a closing agent. It's my job to know what those documents say and to go over those with them. I can't answer certain questions as I'm not a lender, but I have a decent understanding of what the documents are. I can explain them to your clients and make sure that they are in full understanding or get their questions answered when they have that big stack in front of them.
And Charlie, Candace, and Claire, you've seen this far more than I have, but if you're a first-time home buyer or second-time home buyer, that can be very, very intimidating. Absolutely. At this literally an inch thick
Yeah.
pile of papers that you have to sign, and that can be a very scary time. I don't do closings that often, but I kind of like the first time home buyer just because they're excited, they're a little nervous. You're talking them through it, and again, this is the biggest transaction that they've had in their entire lives.
Yeah,
and so it's a lot of responsibility that we have, and that you guys have as well.
It is. It's my favorite comment when at the end of the stack they're like, "Oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "It wasn't. It's not that big. It's all good. All good. You're just going to sign your name, and it's going to be fine."
And that's when Phil and Norm work their magic. If you're a little nervous, and you get 2 waddling loaves of bread-looking dogs walking in, it kind of makes everything
little
all right.
piggies.
And trust me, my dogs know about the high-end diet, and when they, for what they eat and what they put in their mouth, you would think that they're not picky,
Right.
but they are.
Yeah. Lenny is as well. He's very picky.
Yeah.
So he knows that any of those pepperonis or anything like that, he doesn't.
Oh, no,
he
that's
looks at it like,
gauche.
I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
Can't have that.
It's like feeding someone McDonald's. I don't know.
Except Phil
What
and
is
Norm,
this
every morning when they
process?
come in, take them off their leash, and they have a circuit they do around the office. They know who has treats and who doesn't. And those two just go tandem to Amy and our receptionist and our search department because they all have treats, and they all, this 2 by 2, they go and
They make their rounds.
They make their rounds.
Yeah.
Kind of like Charlie probably at the office.
Sort of, yeah. Thank you, Candace. I always say nice things about Candace, and there she is. Just
Wow. I take it back.
no, you don't.
It's because her name's on the top of the check and your name's on the bottom of the check.
That's it. Yeah. Well, I don't know whose name's where. Yeah, we're partners. So, but and for those that weren't listening, congratulations again to Candace because Candace recently got engaged.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
What a lucky man he must be.
Well, thank you very much. I don't know.
It's not Charlie, is it?
No. God, no. Are you serious?
Where's your ring at?
It's on my finger.
Oh, I didn't see. Okay.
Yeah.
I saw it out
How
in the
can you
lobby.
not
It's
see it?
beautiful.
I know.
How can you
The
not
rock.
see it?
But
Her poor left hand is sitting on the table because it's too heavy to pick up.
Yeah.
No.
So
It is very pretty.
So
Very tasteful and very pretty.
So, Candace, I know that your title company of preference is Bosse.
Yes, it is.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
And
Candace.
You're welcome.
So you want to talk about what you hear from the clients and things
Well, just
or
as
questions with these guys?
well, just as Jeff and Claire were both saying, clients will come in and they're as first-time home buyers. They're like, "What am I signing?" Because they've been told, "Don't just sign anything." And Claire doesn't. Oh, everybody there does, but I'm speaking for Claire.
Thank you.
She does an excellent job explaining. This form just states this, and this form just states that. And a lot of times, like she was saying, people are like, "Oh, okay, well that wasn't so bad,"
Yeah.
But there's a lot.
Not to talk bad against lawyers because we have a lawyer on staff. One of the few companies that has an attorney on staff at work.
All the time.
All the time. But lawyers have a way of adding a lot of words
Yeah.
to documents.
Yeah.
But, God bless them. We need them. Or that's what they tell me. And
We do. We
No,
love
we
them.
really do.
We need
I'm
them.
teasing. And we have a lot of attorneys here in the tri-state that send us business, and I'm thankful for all of them. But again, it's the CYA. You just have to
Absolutely.
cover your rear, and so everyone is protected.
Yeah.
I've told you a story. You guys have used this, I'm sure. My very first closing in a long time ago.
Okay, you're not going to give us the year on that?
I think it was 99.
Okay.
Because they make fun of me that I was selling real estate in the 90s now, so. But anyway.
I was born in the 60s. I think that seems late, Charlie.
It does. It was late. That was second career.
Absolutely.
But anyway, I'm at the old Evansville title.
Mm-hmm.
And Nina Rogers is closing it.
Sure.
So anyway, people come in. There's a big stack of documents. And the guy says, "Well, I want to read this mortgage."
We get that sometimes.
And I was like, "Okay."
Sure.
He gets to page 2, and he says, "What's all this?"
And for your
say?"
listeners out there, the mortgage is typically about 19 pages
Yeah.
of single line spacing, legal size paper. It is a read.
And he says to Nina, he's on page 2. He says, "What does this all say?" Nina says, "Never smile never leaves her face." And I've used this so many times. She says, "It's real simple. If you pay, you stay.
If you don't, you won't."
That's right.
I I say that in every single one of my
And-
closings.
I do too.
And the guy and the guy looked at her and he says, "That's what I need to know." And that we were done. He signed everything else. Never even read it. And
I have a story similar to that. It was a young lawyer, young attorney, had just passed the bar exam. He had just gotten married. He and his new wife, were in our office signing, and he pulls out his red pen. Lawyers are notorious for their red
Yes.
pens. And he starts reading the mortgage, which is fine. And he starts redlining line after line after line. And we got to about page 4 or 5. I said, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Well, I'm redlining the aspects of the mortgage that I don't like." And I said, "I really appreciate your gusto and your vim and vigor. And I mean, you are going to be an excellent attorney." But I go, "But this is a bank document. This is a boilerplate document." I go, "If you want this house at this interest rate, you'll sign that document just as you see it." And I said, "Now, please read it." But I go, "There is no altering this document." But man, I really appreciate that. Was that was some creativity on his part. I have since used that lawyer several more times.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, longest closing. I would see if anybody can beat my record here.
How long was it?
Okay, we started at an old competitor of
Now,
yours.
is this residential or commercial?
This
Big
was a mix. Okay.
Because if you're doing like an
Well,
$8.9 million
No.
and you have 8 lawyers involved,
No, those typically aren't that bad actually, but because they're usually
the lawyers already hammered all the details.
they've already
out
hammered all the
beforehand,
details
yes.
out. Yeah, so we just give them our wire instructions for our commission check. I mean that's true. We didn't. First time I ever did that with lawyers was on it was a little $1 million deal, and it was Jenny McBride and I.
Sure.
I said, "Jenny, we haven't done anything." I said, "I wonder how things are going." And Chicago Title calls one day, and they said we were doing a deal with someone in San Francisco, and they said, "We need your wire instructions." Well, yeah, but what about the deal? What's going on?
Right.
Oh, it's already signed. We just
There
need.
we go.
Yeah. So, thought this is easy, and where was I going? Oh,
The longest closing, yes.
Longest closing. It was at a competitor. It used to be right down the street from you downtown.
Okay.
You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yes.
We were there.
Scott's old place.
Scott's old place.
Right.
Yep. We walk in at 1:00. Now, let me back up and tell. Okay, we were selling 13 triplexes.
Got it.
Okay. Dave Clark is the lender.
Sure.
So Dave doesn't like the terms on the commercial side of the particular bank he was brokering this to. So this was back in the Wild Wild West days, okay?
Sure.
He takes it to the residential side of the bank because he figured out each one was on its own plat.
Oh, my. Yes.
So they walk in with hand trucks.
So basically, you had 13
Oh, sure.
closings
The-
sort of packaged as one.
as one. They all said the same thing.
Oh, my.
Okay.
But there's 13
But
packages.
there's 13 packages, but each one said the same thing. And, okay, we walk in at 1:00. Turns out the guy is a reader.
Okay.
Read
You're
every
there all
document.
day.
We call that
Okay.
strike 2.
Okay, so so we're figuring, okay, he'll read the first package. He'll sit, start signing. He read all 13. And Sid Joseph was closing it.
Sure.
And he said, well, no, they did shifts. Sid didn't start. They did 4-hour shifts.
Well, they had to sleep. It's like these surgeons, who are doing
Yeah.
these transplants. They have to tap out.
That was it. Yeah, we had 3 closers that came in and out. But anyway, so he was also, I forget what field, he was an expert witness too, that traveled all over the world.
Okay. So he's a very detailed guy.
And then he said, Sid, did I ever tell you about the time that the King Bora Bora, I had dinner with him, and this just goes on and on.
Oh,
and
my.
on. But so it.
So this is probably before iPhone, so you just can't play your
No.
bedazzled game
No.
on your phone.
So it gets so long. The jungle was open then.
I remember the jungle. That was a good place to eat.
Dave Clark and I went to the jungle, and it wasn't to eat either. Okay.
But yet the poor title people are still there.
Oh,
working.
we were
Grinding it out.
We were texting Sid, can we bring you anything?
Sure.
And so anyway, at
And they probably didn't offer to-go cocktails back then, did they? Or
No.
even now? No.
no. So at 20 to 1 in the morning,
You're 12 hours later?
20 to 1 in the morning, we walk out.
Oh, my.
And so here's what's worse. The seller comes in, signs, no problem. She comes in about 1:30, says, well, I'll go to the boat for a while.
Oh, my.
And so at about 9 o'clock, she calls me and says, hey, I'm going to lose. She's making about $400,000.
Okay.
She said, I'm going to lose that whole $400,000 if I'm on this boat much longer. Because since they all hadn't been signed, Scott wasn't authorized them to
You can't
pay
disperse
him.
the funds.
Can't
So-
disperse any money with
So Sid finally calls him about midnight, and he says, good God,
Yeah.
release the money. He said I think he'd signed 12 packages by that time. And Scott finally agreed then to go ahead and release
The funds.
Yeah. But so that was, can you top that one?
No, Claire, can you?
Absolutely not.
I may have had one that's lasted an hour and a half, maybe.
Yeah.
I've had Candace. You're
Well,
on.
do you remember the one that we had where the buyer, I wasn't even actually, it wasn't my buyer or seller. It was someone who had left our team. So I had taken over her client, and the seller just had other things to do, I guess, and kept saying she was on her way. Oh, I'll be there in 30 minutes. I'll be there.
Yes, and we sat for probably for a while.
It was a couple hours at least.
Yeah, you guys ended up leaving, and they came back. Like the buyers came back, I think, when the seller eventually came. See, Charlie, there are so many.
That was a
fun closing stories that.
There are. Go ahead. What's your favorite
happens.
that you can tell?
Oh, my favorite.
I have one. It's distasteful. Is this a family show?
Nah, they're just going to church right now, so don't worry about it.
Well, I mean, I felt bad for her, but
They'll pray for you, Jeff.
yeah, trust me, I need it. But this was probably, I was the closer. It was a late Friday, and I didn't want my staff to have to work late on a Friday. Or I didn't want to pay overtime. Either way.
Ding, ding, ding.
Either way, the client needed to use the restroom. So I told her where the restroom was, and she goes, "Oh, I think I'm still good." She wasn't good.
Oh.
And it was about 8 o'clock on a Friday, and I had to call my wife and said, "I'm going to be another hour. I have to clean up some chairs."
Oh my
gosh.
So,
So why didn't she go to the restroom when she realized she needed to?
Charlie, I wish I had the answer to that. I wish I had the answer to that.
Full service.
Full service. That's right.
Here.
Definitely.
So,
That's why I go to Bosse.
We do what we can.
Right.
Candace knows
and
that
for,
she
and for our
loses
listeners,
control
it
there.
was
that
not
Jeff-
Candace who did that. It was not Candace who
No,
did that.
it was not.
Oh, you ruined a good story. I was getting ready to tell. Gosh darn it!
Where's the trapdoor button, Bobby?
And
I once had a lady. They had a baby. The client had a baby, which is fine. Who doesn't love babies? And anyway, but the baby had also soiled themselves, and then she just put the baby right up on top of the closing table with all the papers and started cleaning the diaper.
Oh.
And I thought, and I suggested a couple times that we have tables outside of the closing room if she
Yeah.
wanted a little more privacy. And she said, "Oh no, we're good. I'll be done here in a few minutes." And again, I'm the father of 4, so I have changed more diapers than I care to admit, and that wasn't awesome.
no,
that's really not.
But anyway, I'm glad. But I'm the takeaway I get is that she felt comfortable enough at Bosse Title Company that she could take care of all those family needs right there.
Felt right at
Exactly.
home.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And for those that didn't hear us at the start, we're with our sponsors are here today. Jeff Bosse from Bosse Title. He's the Bosse in Bosse Title. And your dad was the Bosse too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dad started the company back in, I'm going to say, Charlie, was even before your time. I think Dad started the company in 84 or 82, 1984 or 1982.
And I do remember having closings with your dad.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Dad's retired now, lives in Florida. He he and Jack Schrader with Evansville Titles, and then Jim Boyle.
Jack was dead, I think, by the time I got.
Was he? I never met him. I've heard great things.
You heard great. Yeah, I sold an apartment complex that he and Tom Terrell.
Oh, I remember. Yeah,
Tom and I got to be good friends.
Sure.
And it's Jack's estate and Tom.
Got it.
Yeah. So, and there was another character, was Tom Terrell.
Oh yeah.
One of the great,
We're going old school on you ladies here.
one of the great attorneys.
Yeah, I'm trying not to glaze my eyes over.
Tom Terrell made
So are the listeners.
Tom Terrell made one of the most brilliant moves that anybody's ever made around here. Tom Terrell is known as a shoe carnival guy because he was David Russell, who owned the shoe carnival when it first started. He wanted to go public, but David was always, if he's nothing bad if you're listening, David, it's okay, you know. I'll give you Candace's phone number. You can sue her. But anyway, David, it takes a lot of money to go public.
Yes, it does.
And so
a lot of time and money.
Yeah, David was building the shoe carnival at the time and building it up. It was doing well, but needed more money to be able to go public. So Tom Terrell was his attorney, and Tom said, "I'll take you public." Some of this is legend. I've asked Tom Terrell if this is true, and he said, "Yeah, pretty well."
Right.
Yeah, and he says, "What do you want for taking me public?" Tom said, "I want 1 million shares."
Oh, that was very smart.
And
instead of taking cash,
he took 1 million shares. He went public at $15.
Wow.
And
that's almost Charlie Butler money, folks. That's almost Charlie Butler money.
So Tom, I can remember Tom and I we talked regularly, and he had a house in Sarasota, Florida.
Sure.
Had a house here. Had a house in Traverse City, Michigan.
That's a beautiful area up there.
Had a house in Vail.
So
but anyway, good story. Brilliant real estate attorney. So, but anyway,
hey, can I flip this? Can I flip the script on you guys real quick?
Sure.
So, just as us in the title business, we're at the end of the transaction. We're not out there meeting folks, who are buying and selling. Where do you guys see this market? Do you see this with the new administration? I'm not saying yay or nay on that. I'm just saying with the new administration, are you seeing any change in the housing market? Are you seeing a rise in consumer confidence, a decline in consumer confidence? Are people looking more now that the holidays are over, the cold spell's over?
Go ahead, Candace.
I think now that the holidays are over and, that we don't have snow and ice, I know that the last couple of weeks I've been busier.
Month of January, I have not gotten out of the house nearly as much as I normally do.
Yeah. But I don't necessarily think that it has to do with our current administration because it didn't, it wasn't happening.
It's really not up to them anyway. But
right. I think people watch the interest rates more than anything, and that's a big force.
Sure.
So, but yeah, it has. The last couple of weeks have been very busy.
Yeah,
but it's like everybody was cooped up, and then they're like, oh, now we can go look again. So
we're running out of time. You guys stay next week.
Absolutely. If we're invited back, if Claire didn't mess up too bad.
Claire did not mess up. And we're actually going to let her talk next week, okay?
Okay.
Jeff, how can people best get a hold of you guys?
The best way to reach Bosse Title Company is through the web at bossetitle.com, or you can call us, area code 812-421-4000. Probably the easiest way. Or, actually, call Charlie or Candace. Yes. See them, and they'll get you to Bosse Title.
And you can reach Candace at?
On my cell phone at 812-455-6338, or on the team phone, which is 812-480-17... 430.
And that's why you have Charlie. That's why you have Charlie.
That's what he's here for.
He finally came through. He came through in the clutch.
Bobby's saying, come on. And Charlie Butler, if we can't sell your house, we'll buy it. We'll have you an offer in 48 hours. Area code 812-499-7758. So for Candace DeArmond, Claire Kincaid, Jeff Bosse, this is Charlie Butler. Have a great Sunday.
This program has been paid for by the Charlie Butler team. From the Kate Foppel Ford Studios, this is News Talk 1280 WGBF.